Now let's talk about the heart of this conversation. What is Africa actually exporting to China? According to the BBC and trade data, in 2023, Africa exported $109 billion worth of goods to China. But the overwhelming majority of that, over 90% in some countries, is raw materials: oil, gas, copper, cobalt, iron, cocoa, timber, and coffee. For example, Angola and Nigeria rely on petroleum for the bulk of their export income to China. The DRC sends massive amounts of cobalt and copper, the very minerals powering China's EV revolution. Even agricultural exports like cashew nuts, cocoa, and tea often go out raw, then come back to the continent as expensive finished product. Meanwhile, China exported $173 billion worth of goods to Africa just last year, most of it manufactured products, machinery, electronics, vehicles, textiles, steel, and chemicals. So in plain terms, Africa sends raw goods, China sends in finished goods and makes the real money. My people, that's not trade. That's an extraction economy. We send our wealth raw and buy it back at premium. That's the reason Africa has remained at the bottom of the global value chain for decades. So yes, China's zero tariff offer is an opportunity, but only if Africa can use this moment to flip the script completely. Because if we continue exporting cocoa beans instead of chocolate, crude oil instead of petrochemicals, or bauxite instead of aluminum, then the tariff cuts will just speed up the flow of cheap inputs out and high value imports back in. We've seen this before, colonialism 2.0, but with friendlier headlines. But imagine if Nigeria exported finished rubber products, if Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire sold packaged chocolate bars instead of just cocoa beans, if Ethiopia's textile factories exported designer garments to Chinese consumers, if Africa could convert even just 20 to 30% of its $109 billion exports into value-added products, it would add $20 to $30 billion in retained value annually across commodities like cocoa, rubber, oil, metals, and textiles. Add the economic multiplier effect. Think industry, jobs, skills, innovation, and the opportunity becomes transformative, not marginal. And if we get that part right, the zero tariff deal doesn't just open doors. It opens industries, creates jobs, and builds wealth on the continent. So the question isn't whether this is a good offer. It's whether we're ready to meet it with a new strategy.